This week on Reliving the Extreme, everyone, we are reviewing the episode of ECW Hardcore TV from March 11th, 1997. Nate Maxon, your host here, along with my brother Aaron.
Hello.
And Senior Chad Austin.
Hey, are we going to do the same thing in 97 that we did in 90? Or I'm going to do the same thing where I say every year, are we still in 97?
I think it's actually going to get worse as we go on, I believe.
I'm not dreading it now. I'm dreading it because I've heard other people foreshadowing on other podcasts about how ECW gets like, and they keep talking about like 97 and like 98. I'm going, oh no.
And you guys, I think both of you have watched. Not that I didn't watch ECW in the moment, not that I haven't gone back and watched some stuff over the years, but I know as consistently, you two have probably watched ECW more than I have over the years. But if I remember correctly, as time goes on, we're going to have some great stuff, you know, like RVD and Jerry Lynn or things like that. There's going to be things that stick out, and there's going to be obviously great things that happen, but the overall product is never, ever going to be the same as it was before Barely Legal, after Barely Legal.
Well, for our show, it's going to be great. because I still liked ECW after Barely Legal and whatever you want to say, but it's like we're gonna move into like being able to get like Chili Willy and Roadkill and shit like that. And
well, like I said, I'm not saying that the product was ass or anything. I'm just saying it's not. It is a better product before it gets as popular as it got.
Yeah,
and then
but you can say that about every company, though.
Right.
Anyway, WCW, WWF, and ECW.
Like, do you know how we've been on the last couple of shows talking about like, can we figure out like where the building is? Where are they taping this from? Like when Joey Styles says where they were coming from on this show, I'm thinking, I wonder if anybody that rented that building out had any idea.
The Catholic Youth Center in Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Didn't that pop you a little bit when you're thinking like, did anybody renting this building out have a clue what was going on here?
Nobody in this building obviously knew about the Sandman Raven angle from about 6 months ago.
Yeah. Like it was Scranton, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
All right. Like when I heard him say the Catholic Youth Center or whatever, I was thinking, is this the same company, like the same building that said they didn't want WWF because they had Friar Ferguson and they're booking ECW? And I was like, that's a different.
I think, and this is stupid. This is one of those things that I shouldn't know, but I'm pretty sure it was the Catholic Youth Center in Youngstown, Ohio, that wouldn't let the WWF come in because
that
they
was
had
the one.
Friar Ferguson. Why I know that stupid shit?
No, dude, I know it. I know it for the same reason that you know it. I don't know why I know
it.
Right. But I certainly do. I certainly do know it. It's Youngstown, Ohio. Like it'll just pop out of my head anytime you say it. Like kind of shit.
Well, with it being the Catholic Youth Center, maybe it was maybe Rob Feinstein got it booked through like internet chats.
I don't know.
Probably in a group with a bunch. He's probably in a group with a bunch of priests.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure at this point in time, I mean, Scranton being a hotbed of entertainment, I'm sure that the biggest thing that came to town before wrestling was Ringland's Stepbrothers circus or some shit. I can't think of like who's making the towns and putting Scranton on the books.
It reminds me of that. That reminds they had like the C and D level circuses that go around to fair. No, not even the Shriners. Right. But like they would come to our town when my kids were kids, and the kids want to go to the circus, and it's just the lamest. And that I remember the one time, even my son, who at the time was 5 years old, it said that they had the world's smallest horse, right? And they have like. You're not allowed to go actually physically look at the world's smallest horse. They have like a thing where it's like binoculars, but it's like they're backwards. So the thing has like a wall around it, and you put your head to the little binocular things. It's obviously a normal sized horse, but these binocular things are made. And even my little son at 5 years old called bullshit on that. He was like, "Dad, that was just backwards binoculars."
Hey, at
They're
least
like,
somebody.
oh,
At least somebody didn't pull a prank and put a W in front of fucking the H on the sign. Like you wouldn't be the 5-year-old, it'd be the dads lying around.
World's smallest whores. Yeah.
and they're like, oh, come look at our freak show. It's the bearded man. We have the world's tallest midget. It's just a guy. He's like, hey.
Hey, there's a guy or a girl at the Get and Go that we go to get the beer from the drive-through. I swear the guy's name is Carl, but Terrace Willis swears the girl's name is Carly. Well, the girl guy has got like black hair, not too long, not too short, and has chin hair. But we can't figure out whether the name tag says Carl or Carly. and me and her argue about it all the time. Like we don't want to ask them. Like, we don't want to say like, thanks, ma'am, or when when she hands us the bag or something. That's who's at the carnival.
It's Pat.
Yeah, this girl didn't know who Pat is. Forget about that. I made that joke too. She just went over her head. She ain't never been to a concert.
I remember when Pat was they were finally gonna reveal Pat's significant other, and it was Terry.
Yeah,
and
Terry.
It was Dana Carvey.
And there was also a Chris. To be honest with you, I had completely forgotten about Pat for a while, and then I don't know, few months ago on my Spotify, it played the version of Everything I Hate About You by Ugly Kid Joe with Pat at the beginning of it.
I don't want to see your Spotify playlist now.
That's like one of the most 90s thing ever. Ugly Kid Joe with Pat as the intro.
If Screech would have been involved, it would have been put it over the top.
Dude.
You say that to somebody that's like 37, they're gonna have no.
What the fuck are you talking
about?
Pat.
Yeah, man, I remember when Kennedy introduced that video. What are you talking about?
And then Kurt Loder gave me some news.
Yeah, he told us Kurt Cobain died.
I bought these Cavaricis at the Chess King. Look at all these zippers. Check this out.
And speaking of things that were relevant in the 90s, ECW. Let's go back to ECW.
Who you can buy their DVDs at Suncoast.
Yes, at Suncoast. Like Chad said, we are at the CYC in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Joey Styles does the intro in mid ring.
Joking about it though, they did have a good turnout.
Yeah,
oh my god, like that was the biggest crowd that I had seen. Like, and they shot it well or whatever, but I'm like, this is the most impressive crowd they've had, like visually, since they were when they did that Japan show. I thought.
Yeah, that was the first thing I thought of, Aaron. Like when they shot it from that hard cam up on that stage thing, I was like, damn, how did they get that many motherfuckers in the ECW arena? And then when I saw fifth and sixth row, that were on the backside by the hard cam, I was like, this ain't the ECW arena. This is like, you could see like, it reminded me of like, if you would, I guess for you guys it'd be like when they would show like Smoky Mountain, like if they would show like something that happened at the Knoxville Coliseum and they had that hard camera where you could see all the floor seats, around the ring kind of thing.
Or like the Mid Hudson Civic Center. The WWF Raws that would come from the Mid Hudson Civic Center, that kind of a vibe.
Yeah. It was a great. It looked great on TV. That was. I'm glad you guys caught up on that because I didn't make a note of it, but I made a mental note of it. There was a hell of an opening.
So Joey introduces the BWO, who comes to the ring, and was I incorrect or not? What am I incorrect that the woman that came into the ring, obviously a plant to kiss Stevie, was that Chastity?
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, I thought it was Peaches.
No, it was actually. I did at first too when it was the long shot, but then when they came in,
this one had nice tits. It wasn't.
Well, I didn't even get that far. All I saw was the blonde like rolling in and running up and like kissing and all. And I'm like, Peaches, like and I'm thinking, how is she gonna get? She's got to be gone by now. But I didn't
No,
even know. I didn't
she's
know it
back.
was Chastity.
She's back with Sandman. Her and Sandman are back together, and Sandboy's back. The family's intact.
No,
Yeah, it was
I didn't know that was
Chastity.
Chastity.
And
I didn't.
something I noticed, and this is stupid. This is a stupid observation. But now that Stevie's supposed to be taken serious, and he's not like Raven's lackey anymore, his coochie cutters got longer.
Well, you noticed it.
He went from coochie
Like,
cutters to jorts. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got cut off jorts now. He doesn't have coochie cutters. I'm like, oh, Big Stevie Cool's shorts had to get a little longer. Like, you don't see his pockets hanging out of him anymore. Like,
Well, no shit. I didn't know I had no clue it was Chastity. I by no means did I believe it was a shoot, but I didn't even put two and two together on that one at all. I just figured it was somebody's grass.
And I laughed my ass off. Like, I was trying to get Stevie Richards over as a sex symbol. Really?
Pretty much at the end of the day, that's what I thought of it. I was the joke was on the inside, like they're trying to get this fucking ass over as a, you know what I mean?
I'd believe it more if she was rubbing on Meanie.
Nova, dude, because
Nova's in shape.
Yeah, I mean, Meanie, you get that because there's always some fucking weird kind of hot girl like that kind of shit, but like Nova ain't getting nothing. So throw Nova a bone there, Scotty.
It's like, who's the most normal looking guy in this group? Nova? No pussy for Nova.
yeah, that's a Nova. Nope. Super Nopa.
But and like I said, I wanted to clarify that was Chastity because I was just like, it looks like her, but I didn't know if she was around that early. So anyway.
Yeah, it was her.
She had clothes on.
She had clothes.
Yeah. She's already did porn. It's gonna catch up to her.
Well, can't any of these wrestling broads do any good porn? Seriously. Beula's shit stunk. Chastity shit stunk. Who knows? I think Missy Hyatt probably has the best porn. Or the one that got hooked up with Xavier Woods. Was that Paige?
Paige.
That's halfway decent porn.
After they do the trying to get Stevie over as a sex symbol deal, Stevie cuts a promo. He wants Raven at the pay-per-view for the title. Blue Meanie cuts a promo in support of Stevie Richards. Big Stevie Cool, whatever. And then I thought it was funny. Raven comes out, walks past Stevie, starts bullying Meanie, and I just thought it was funny. He's like, I will shoot your dog. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And kill your parents.
Yeah, that didn't even bother. Whatever, kill. But I'll shoot your dog, mean ass.
Spit on
What I thought was funny was he beats Meanie up and like he's berating him and beating him up, and like Raven or Stevie and Nova do nothing about it. Like, they just watch him beat up Meanie, and then Stevie just watches Raven beat up Nova. It's like, I don't know if they did that on purpose. Like at the moment, like Stevie's character was like, I don't know if I should attack Raven or what. But it's like, why is he just watching him beat up his friends?
There's a couple of awkward things during the show. There's another one I'll bring up later too. But yeah, you're right. Like he's out here all fist and fire, ready. He wants to challenge Raven for the title, and then Raven comes out and beats up his friends, and he just watches like a cuck.
Well, yeah. Maybe like the way they wanted it to look was that Stevie's sitting there thinking like he ain't gonna do that shit with me, and let Stevie does it with me. Like you can beat up my goofy dumb friends. You know what I mean? But let's see if he does it with me. Maybe that's how they wanted to present it. Yeah, he's just standing there going, "Oh," watching everybody get DDT'd all over the place. It's some of the worst.
Yeah, like when your move was a super kick and a guy grabs a guy and goes to DDT, the best defense you can do to save your friend is, how about you just super kick the guy before he DDTs him? But no, he just let that big bitch get dropped.
Yeah, he did. So Big Daddy Stevie uncool.
Well, then Stevie squares up, literally, like he's a 1920s boxer. squares up at Raven, and essentially Raven just doesn't act like he's scared of Stevie or afraid of Stevie. He just leaves pretty much.
Well, he basically says I'm gonna fuck with you like a lot. Like I'm gonna make your life a living hell, and then he leaves. And that psychology of it, I think, is cool because Stevie's talking about how like, oh, for 2 years I was your lackey and I'm not gonna do it anymore. And Raven came out and beat up Supernova and Meanie, and then looks at Stevie and is like, you're not worth my time. Whatever.
Hey, we got the pay-per-view, and I don't want to touch anybody. My foot. Don't touch the gout. Yeah, that required too much.
Man, now I'm trying to think. God damn it! It might come to me later. If it doesn't, I'll go back and find it and mention it next week. I just watched, because I was way behind on Dark Side of the Ring, and I just watched the Dark Side of the Ring about Sandman, and there was something fucking Raven said. I mean, he always cracks me up, but there was something he said on that fucking Dark Side of the Ring that fucking I just laughed. Like I had to pause it. I can't remember.
You're way behind if you're watching Sandman. That was like
I don't really watch it in real time, to be honest with you. I wait till the season's over and then now I'm watching season 4. I haven't even started. But anyway, that beside the point. I have to go back and look because there was something he said, or maybe it was the way you know how he is sometimes with his cadence and shit. But anyway, beside the point. So yeah, Richards is ready to fight. He's laid the challenge down to Raven for the pay-per-view for the championship. And then they came at us with this shit fast and furious for about 15 minutes in the middle of the show. They pretty much showed us a little bit of everything from the card, but not a lot of anything. Like there was just, like we were talking about in our chat earlier, it's hard to take notes when they don't give you a second to take a breather and write a fucking note down. So
is that where we're at right now? Or right around where I'm texting you about, you know?
It
like,
begins.
I don't know how to write this shit. I don't know how to review it.
Joseph hypes barely legal, but then says that they took Scranton or whatever to the extreme, and they're going to show you a bunch of rapid clips of
another show,
what they did there. And the only thing I can say is that, like, if you're watching it in real time, like say you're watching this in 97, it might be like, oh, hey, you know, we're not going to show you everything, but we're going to show you morsels of what you could see if you would come and see this show, like, in person.
Live, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hey, Aaron,
it's the WWF equivalent. Oh, sorry.
Oh, hey, like, how come, is it me, or is it anytime they ever show a fan cam, like a clip from a fan cam, why is it always in the same building as every other fan cam? You know, except for like whatever, maybe the Bubba or something when he ran around kind of thing. It's always shot like it always looks like it has that yellow ceiling. Like every fan cam building looks like it's the same fucking place where it's always shot from the same corner. Everything looks exactly the same. Like it's from they just take one showy fan cam and it's every clip for the rest of ECW's existence. I mean, that kind of like bugged me tonight when I saw it. It jumped out at me. I go, where are they adding? Why is it all look the same?
So
sorry. All I was gonna say was, I think the clip thing is kind of annoying. Like looking back on it now, but in the day, it's almost the equivalent of. Like ECW doesn't have the benefit of being able to have like jobber matches, you know, but WWF,
because I'm gone,
they would have like, you know, Haku versus whoever, and the Rockers versus Dale Wolf and Barry Horowitz, and this is like to entice you to come and see the show, you know, like if you want to see our bigger stars, come and see it, or this is a snippet of what the type of action you could see. And that I think that's kind of why they're doing this clip thing in here. Because for one, they're trying to show you what you could see if you come to an ECW house show. And two, they're getting into more markets because they're doing this pay-per-view that's coming up. So they're trying to show more of their talent. and they only have an hour. So it's like they wouldn't be able to show you Taz, Tommy Rich, RVD, Sabu, Tommy Dreamer, Sandman, Lance Storm, Axl.
Tommy
They wouldn't be
Rich.
able to show all these guys if they showed all the matches. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm rambling.
Oh no,
That's
but
the
I
way
mean,
I look at it.
what you're saying is 100% accurate. Like your TV show is your whole vehicle to sell tickets to the live show.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
that's
an
exactly
info.
what the
That's
TV
basically an
for.
hour infomercial for them right now.
Of course. But it's hard when they couldn't have had enough foreshadowing to realize that 3 putzes are going to sit around on a fucking Thursday night and review this shit. they couldn't even take any of that into consideration. Assholes.
Like the 3 of us know who Tommy Rich is, but some average guy sitting on his beanbag jerking off eating Doritos might not know.
No shit. Is this somebody you know, Aaron? Are you describing Archie?
Mitchell.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
The WWF was just never, you talked about the WWF tapings with the squash matches. The WWF was just never nice enough on TV to tell you that if you come to one of these shows, we're going to give you 4 hours of this, and then two competitive matches.
Yeah, you're gonna see 4 hours of this and a couple minutes of Hulk Hogan. Maybe.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
Yeah.
All right, so this whole whirlwind of matches from CYC and Scranton starts. We see footage of Taz suplexing the shit out of Spike Dudley and then beating him with a Tazmission.
The clips of that match, I'm glad we just saw clips of it because I was like, man, if this was a long match, it looked boring. Taz versus Spike Dudley to me sounds fucking boring, and I don't want to watch it.
And then we see Tommy Rich from the FBI with this time Guido. We saw Tommy Rich last week. We lost Chad there. Well, hopefully we'll get him back here. We saw Tommy Rich last week. We saw Guido in action with Chris Chetty, and Chetty defeated Guido. Well, this week it's Tommy Rich versus Chris Chetty, and Guido is outside the ring, quote unquote, taking notes on the match. But the reality is he just wants to get the cheap shot in on Chris Chetty, so that Tommy Rich can win the match.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping Chad was going to be here for this, but what this is 97.
All right, so here we go. Chad, are you back?
I hope.
All right. We're talking about Tommy Rich versus Chris Chetty on the show here.
Chris Chetty.
I think Aaron had a question for you.
Well, for both of you.
Okay.
Obviously we all like Tommy Rich, but he had no career after ECW really. But what's you guys' take on Chetty? I actually liked Chris Chetty. I thought he was always entertaining, in my opinion.
For me, this is all I know of him. You're pretty much he's just now coming in, right? This is just like the start of him. And
yeah.
Did he do anything else after ECW? I don't know.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like he really just had an ECW career, but I'm just talking like as we get into it and go longer, like he has that he's gonna wind up having like a really good team with Nova and everything. It's just like I always thought like Chris Chetty was really good, and it just always kind of surprised me that he never had a bigger career than what he did. I'm not saying he was like the greatest thing of all time or whatever, but I just thought I was like, man, that guy was a good, solid worker. He looked good. He had good size or whatever. It's like, I don't know. Maybe he didn't want a bigger career than what he had.
I'll probably have a better opinion as time goes on because, like I said, I didn't know him then, and I don't know anything about him now. So I'm just now getting to see who he is. He's all right for what I'm seeing so far. But I mean, actually, I take that back. He's okay in the ring, but I don't see anything as far as a character right there. But he's still green, right?
Does anybody? Do you know Aaron? Because I don't remember. Was he one of the guys that after after ECW and WCW folded there in like 2001? Did WWF ever even Do you have any dark matches? Did they ever look at him?
Not that I know of.
Because they fucking, I
And
mean, they looked at
And
everybody.
it's crazy.
It seems like,
It's crazy too because he's Taz's relation, and as far as I know, he never really did anything else.
Yeah,
Well,
maybe
that could be the problem right there.
maybe he decided to fuck it. I don't want to be a wrestler. I want to be a real estate agent or something. I don't know, but
No, now that you mentioned that he's Taz's nephew, that probably answers all your questions. They're probably saying if he's the same pain in the ass as Taz is, let him break his neck. I forgot about him. I forgot about him being Taz's nephew, by the way, too.
Then after the go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and then we get this is where I was talking about, and you guys kind of shit on me a little bit about a couple weeks ago, where I was talking about lazy booking. It's like now we get another RVD Sabu Eliminators ladder match. Like, Jesus Christ!
In this match, I know a lot of people like to it's internet wrestling fans, but sometimes people bring up, the fact that WWE uses those bigger ladders that are safer. Oh my God. But like when you watch what happened during this match, like that ladder broke. That could have been very bad. Very, very bad if someone would have been on a different position or whatever on that ladder. But the ladder breaks during this match, which with a Sabu match, something going wrong always makes it better. But
right.
It was a Harbor Freight ladder.
The funny thing is, we're talking about earlier about how they're showing you all these clips about how they want you to spend your money to come see the.
I love when one of us pauses. It's so funny.
we were looking at a paused face of Chad Austin right now, everybody.
Like if he was the president, like if he was the dead president, that would be like him on the $5 bill.
Shit happens. Chad's internet's acting up tonight, so we'll get him back again, like we did before. They show us here. The next thing they show us is it looks like Chad's back now. You back, Chad?
Let's hope.
Oh, nope. Right.
But
stop moving.
The next thing they show us, it looks like there was supposed to be a match between Dream. They don't even bother showing any of this match. A match with Dreamer and Sandman against the Dudleys, and I put down Dreamer and Sandman come out, the Dudleys come out, and then Dreamer screams some shit, and that's all we got to see of this.
Yeah. He says this ain't a Raw match, and Eric Bischoff ain't here. This is ECW. And it, like, when I saw it, I'm like, okay, this is gonna be some ECW shit. The Dudley Boys versus Tommy Dreamer Sandman, and then we didn't even get the match.
Yeah, he's like, this is an ECW match, but we're not gonna show you the match.
Yeah, it's like when we were like us reviewing those Clash of Champions, we're talking about like, oh, Luger, Brian Pillman, the Steiners, Doom, like, oh, this is WCW, It's like I saw these four guys. They're like, all right, this is ECW, and then it's like, well, we get nothing out of it. Okay.
When do we get? Have we come up? We haven't come up to the Bubba Ray promo yet, right? That's coming up, right? The Dudley's promo.
Yeah, we're getting there in a minute.
Okay. Because I forget that these shows are only like 45, 47 minutes long, and by just showing so much stuff of clips and everything else, it kind of goes by kind of fast. So, like, here I am thinking, like, this show's got to be winding down. Like, nope. I'm thinking I'm thinking, like, there's more. And I don't mean that in a bad way.
And even talking about, like, where I was talking about where I can understand where they're going to show you, like, hot clips of matches or whatever. It's like, this wasn't even... when I watched this one, I was like, man, this doesn't even work because it didn't, like, I could see if it was like Sandman versus somebody and all they showed was like Sandman's entrance, because I could get that, seeing Sandman doing his entrance, that's an experience. But like Sandman was not even really, I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense, but it's like, oh, it just showed two fat guys walking out with a semi-hot chick and some guy going, fucking ECW. Okay. That did nothing for me.
that goes back to the old Crockett days when they would just show you like, before the hour was going off the air, you would see like Dusty's entrance. And they get in the ring and we gotta go.
Yeah. Bob Cottle, that's the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. We'll see you next week, everybody. And you will see none of this match, by the way.
Yep. ECW, everybody.
And this shows how much attention I was paying. Or whatever. My next note says clips of Lance Storm versus Lance Storm. That's what I accidentally wrote down. And I went, winner, Lance Storm. So it just says Lance Storm versus Lance Storm, winner, Lance Storm. Like, what?
Who did he work?
Did I just write.
He worked Axl.
Lance Storm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he did work Axl, I think. I think I saw Axl.
I forgot. I don't know why I wrote Lance Storm. I just noticed it. I was like, Lance Storm versus Lance Storm, winner, Lance Storm.
Well, they didn't give us much of this, right?
Yeah, not a lot of it, but it did set off a fucking like one of those chain effect kind of things. Because after Storm beats Axl, the Dudleys come out and attack Lance Storm, and then the Gangstas come out. And then what I did like about this one, and he probably has done it before, but for some reason this time it stuck out to me. And I don't know if this is the first time he did it, but every time he does it, it cracks me up. I love it when Joey will just say tape recorder, toaster when he doesn't scream, he doesn't be like, he's just like, he's just seeing things and going, record player.
Like, and this one he was just like video console.
Yeah, video console.
Dude, now I just figured out why Axl is so over with the ECW crowd. Like, start putting it together now. Doesn't it feel like after almost every single Axl Rotten match, all hell breaks loose?
Yeah, like, pretty much. His matches are the predecessor for shit to hit the fan. Yeah,
it's kind of like he's like the Forrest Gump of ECW.
It just happens around him.
Yeah, he just happens around him.
So no wonder when he walks out, the crowd pops. They're like, oh yeah, the show's about to start.
Okay. It's like, those look like comfortable boots. You can tell a lot by a worker by his boots, where he's going, where he's been.
Mama always said life is like a bag of weapons.
Paulie always said life is like a box of chocolates.
So
you never know what your payout. You never know what your payout's gonna be.
The check's going to bounce.
So there you go, guys.
It could be nougat. It could be nothing. You don't know.
Damn, Axl's taking a beating.
It's gonna. Well, the title of this episode's already now Axl Gump. So
Axl Gump. Forrest Rotten.
I like Axl Gump better.
Axl Gump. I don't know why Forrest Rotten.
I'm not making fun of Axl.
The Gangstas come out with a bag full of. It looked like they stole somebody's Christmas presents because, like we said, there's a tape recorder in there. There's a Nintendo, I think. There's a keyboard, but the Gangstas and the Dudleys go at it, and then out of this whole thing, Axl's the only one that got busted open.
Dude, he was out of the ring when he checks his forehead, he's not even involved in the action. And I see him out in the corner on the hallway touching his head like, I'm the only one bleeding. All these idiots are in the ring with using all the living room stuff, and Axl, he starts all this shit, and then he like when it goes off, he's heading back to the locker room.
Well, what Axl does as he's standing there bleeding, he cuts a promo putting over the Dudley Boys, saying they're the greatest tag team in the world, and of course the ECW Tag Team Champions, the Eliminators, take exception to this. So they come out, and then here's where I said another awkward moment in this show. Lance Storm stood up on that top turnbuckle forever. And sign guy's looking at him and doesn't say anything to the Dudleys.
Well, he can't speak.
Hold up a fucking sign.
He didn't have a Sharpie.
Behind you.
But if Terry Funk was there, he would have been describing how much he loved Japan. He would have been like, for it.
or his buddy with what's his name? Yeezer Blue, whatever.
The kid. I was thinking of the kid from the Sandlot. Forever. But yeah, Lance Storm just stands up on the top turnbuckle, waiting forever to hit a high cross body onto the Dudleys off the top. Yeah, I just thought that was, or no, it was a drop kick. It wasn't a high cross body.
Yeah, drop kick,
like a double drop kick.
But yeah, I just thought that was very awkward. And then the Eliminators hit a total elimination on Sign Guy. And then the Dudleys and the Gangstas. Oh, yeah, go ahead, Chad.
They nailed him with that total elimination.
I'm sure they enjoyed it.
Dude, yeah, because you could almost see the smiles on their faces when they said it, when they stood him up there. Like they're like, we're gonna crush this dude with this one.
this sack of fucking pizza dough.
Oh God.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Like I was like, man, it wasn't like, I don't want to say they take it easy on people, but they didn't fuck Kirker up with it like that. You know what I mean? But for some reason, they was like, oh yeah, we're gonna fuck up Sign Guy.
Oh, because you got to have Gertner. Gertner's yeah, he's a high duty, he's a high level talent. The Sign Guy's a jabroni.
Well, after this, then the Dudleys and the Gangstas. The end of this wild segment sees the Dudleys and the Gangstas brawling in the aisle, and they have taken. I just was going to say, from the time that they finally united Bubba and Devon to now, has not been that long, and they have strapped a fucking rocket to these guys. Rightly so.
Yeah,
but
and that's what I think, and I think they did it differently because of the whole mass transit thing. I know it already happened, but I really honestly think that watching this and some other stuff that I think they wanted to do like a three-way dance with the Dudleys, Gangstas, Eliminators going into Barely Legal. And they probably said, oh, we don't, like, that was probably a thing with viewers' choice or whatever. It's like, we don't want the Gangstas on the show. The Gangstas aren't obviously on Barely Legal, and it turns out to just be Bubba and Devon versus the Eliminators. But I think they were trying to build to a three-way, these guys, these three teams. They weren't able to do it.
Oh, that's a shame.
So then
that would have been a hell of a brawl. I mean, on a pay-per-view.
Every year when the event is coming up, that we do this show, every year when the event's coming up, I have to slow down when I say it, because now Joey is telling us about coming up at the ECW arena.
The Hostile Shitty.
The Hostile
Shitty
City. I always say Hostile Shitty Showdown every year.
Hostile Shitty Showdown.
The Hostile Shitty Showdown is coming up, and it's going to be Shane Douglas and Pitbull #1 in an I Quit match at said Shitty Showdown.
Yeah, oof.
And I think they're going to show us that stuff, so we'll probably get to watch that thing.
Lucky us.
We'll get to watch it. We'll probably have to watch that. Gary Wolf sucks.
Dude, seriously. I can't believe we're doing this. when stuff like this comes on, I just shake my head and go, how long have I been watching wrestling for? Like, what got me into this? and I'm here now.
I don't think Gary Wolf was ever good.
No, never. That's my point. Like, come on, man.
He made it from Cabrini to 98. Jesus Christ, dude. You're a bad fucking penny.
Yeah, dude. I needed a better hobby when I was a kid. God.
The bad penny, Gary Wolf.
Good God.
Shane Douglas cuts a promo with Francine, says that Gary Wolf wants to break his neck. He's not going to break his neck. Then We go to the CY. This is not the CYC. This is the CYO Center in Trenton, New Jersey.
This is actually pretty funny.
Dude, I just love how you just summarized the Francine's promo. She said that if you're going to break Shane's neck, you're not going to break Shane's neck. Like that's pretty much what she said.
That was pretty much it. Yeah, that was pretty much the whole thing.
You couldn't put any spin or any oomph into it. Yeah, you said you're going to break Shane's neck. You're not going to break Shane's neck.
I'm surprised you're even booked.
Pretty much no.
That you know, CM Punk uses cult of personality. This promo had a lack of personality. Go ahead, Aaron. This Taz segment here.
I think this is actually pretty funny. It's funny and it's effective. Sabu basically says that he's going to bury all his competition going into Barely Legal.
You mean
and
Taz.
When he says that, what did I say, Sabu?
You said Sabu, but just for the listeners for clarification.
Yeah, Taz says he's going to bury all his competition going into Barely Legal, and when he says that, he's going to choke him out and then bury him under the Taz flag. And he does it to Spike. So he puts Spike on the table, he buries him under the flag, and he's like, look what I did to Spike. And then Sabu comes out and puts Spike through the table with Taz's flag on it. So he basically ass drops Taz's flag while dropping Spike through the table and being like, I fucked this guy up worse than you did. And just teabagged your fucking flag, bitch. And I was like, Taz can't, or Sabu doesn't cut promos, but it's basically a Sabu fuck you promo just by teabagging his flag and taking out the guy that Taz just beat up. I was like, that was pretty fun. I liked that.
But they buried him. They buried him in the under the Taz flag, like they buried Bill Watts under the Russian flag, and whatever. but like Spike was like so tiny, they could have buried him under a napkin. And Taz not being so big either, because I think he made a couple of jokes about Taz's. I think Joey made a couple of remarks about Taz's height, like during this match. Because I think I believe he said he was something about Spike being like, I don't know, it's something about Spike being like the same size as Taz or something. And I thought I caught that when I was writing notes down. And I was like, that's kind of odd. They took a shot, like a little cheap shot, like kind of thing. Like when I hear Taz make fun of my buddy Jeff on AEW Pay Per Views, everybody's somebody Jabroni Jones. I know who they're talking about.
My favorite shot at Taz ever was Lawler.
Oh, that's the
Taz
best.
is like Taz is yelling at him on Raw, and like they cut away, and Lawler's like, he looked a lot bigger on the Lucky Charms box.
I got sweat socks taller than that guy.
I just love he looked a lot bigger on the Lucky Charms box because Taz is like, I'm gonna fuck you up, Lawler. I'm gonna take you out, and Lawler knows that he doesn't have a promo to. Like, Lawler understands how WWF TV works. And he's like, yeah, you look a lot bigger on the Lucky Charms box, buddy. And that's all you see of Taz the rest of the show. Anyway.
Ain't nothing Taz can do about it.
Yeah. But I actually liked this segment. I thought it was quick, but I thought it was effective.
Then they show, after the segment's over, they show Joe Gertner with $100 bill taped to his forehead. And he says he likes to walk through the hood with $100 bill taped to his forehead to see if any man is bad enough to take it. Which, when you see that and you hear him say that, you obviously know there's going to be some wrestlers around, which is great. That's awesome. Joel Gertner's fucking awesome. And this is the first time he's officially announcing that he is I don't know if they ever call him a manager or the second, whatever he is, to the Dudley Boys.
Have you ever seen any of them videos that says like Life at Kensington? When they show you what it looks like on Kensington Avenue and right outside of Philadelphia, where it's all like the dope fiends laying on the street, and you never seen that? Oh
no.
Well, I got news for you. I don't give a shit what Joel Gertner is in real life, whether I could beat his ass every day of the week and twice on Sundays. If that fat ass came walking down my street with that tuxedo jacket on and a bow tie, no shirt, with $100 bill on his forehead, I ain't fucking with him.
It's a psychotic son of a bitch.
Didn't one of like the off-camera voices call him a homo?
I don't know if I call. I mean, I know there were people catcalling him, but I didn't.
Yeah,
catch that,
I'm pretty sure they were like, "Come here, homo," and he was like, "Come at me, buddy." Yeah, I'm like, "Whoa," because there's something else they say later on. I'm like, "Okay, we just heard homo, and then we're gonna hear something else in a minute."
He's safe on my block, dude. I ain't touching that guy. Yeah, that guy is crazy, dude. But yeah, he's got the Dudleys. They come out of the shadows.
Yeah, he says he's officially bringing in and representing his tag team, the Dudley Brothers, which they've called him that a few times. They haven't quite got on the Dudley Boys thing yet. Because Joey called them the Dudley Brothers, I think, last week.
Mm-hmm.
But that just doesn't roll off the tongue as well as the Dudley Boys. But yeah, it's like he's putting himself with them, and then they cut to a promo with the Dudley Brothers, and they're talking about the Gangstas and how they want to settle their differences with them, but they think right now the Eliminators are more important. And Bubba says we want to fight, that little short one. That's how he describes Perry Saturn. That little short one. And then he calls. Did you guys notice what he called? Or did you hear what he called Cronus?
I guess I didn't. I didn't. I guess no. I don't have it written down.
He says we want to fight. We want to fight the ECW Tag Team Champions. That little short one, and Corky the little retard.
Jesus, no, I didn't catch that either.
Yeah. So in one promo, we got Homo twice, the little guy, and Corky the little retard. I'm like, oh my god, this is fantastic.
Then the next promo after the Dudleys promo was quite an ironic promo because Perry Saturn. I did note that he had to throw in, because it's his favorite thing to say. He had to say Doc and Gordy.
Doc and Gordy. Gordy. The only thing he didn't do was Gordy and Doc.
Do the reversal.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Doc and Gordy and Doc thing reminds me of when somebody would say, I'm going to take Benoit out tonight. Benoit would always come up and say, you're going to take me out? You're going to take me out? He would just repeat to them what they were. But anyway, Doc and Gordy. But I thought it's
because it's his Swiss brain. He had to figure out what somebody said.
But I thought this promo was ironic because Saturn's cutting this promo about ECW being home. And within 6 months, he's not going to be in ECW anymore. But that's the wrestling business.
Yeah. It was a cool promo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Doc and Gordy.
Gordy and Doc and Gordy.
Let's go back to the PWI 500. First name Killer, last name Brooks. Killer Brooks. But
I forgot about that. That guy stunk, by the way. Killer Brooks fucking sucked. Anyway, I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but I've never seen a Killer Brooks match that I actually liked. He fucking stunk.
I want to know where to look.
McGraw. I've heard people, oh, Bugsy McGraw was great. Bugsy McGraw was fucking trash.
Nah, he wasn't trash. He was just terrible.
He just he even looked like he smelled.
Oh, dude, yeah. When he had the little kids in his van and shit, I'm sure the back of his van didn't smell too good on them little naked boys. Like
mothballs and dick.
Bugsy McGraw looks like he should be owning a bicycle shop.
He's molesting Coco Beware. Coco Beware and Rocky Dennis. Rocky. Rocky Dennis.
Dudley and Arnold.
What the fuck is going on right now?
Rocky Dennis has enough problems, dude.
You know,
Don't be getting them all molested.
I met Rocky King. Like Coco Beware and Rocky King went to Bugsy Girl's bike shop and got molested.
Oh my god!
And then they went home and told Don Owens about it.
How can you confuse Rocky King with Rocky Dennis? Just put a visual of them side by side.
Sorry.
Oh my god!
Well, speaking of getting words wrong. The next thing cracked me up. This Tommy Rich promo cracked me up because he doesn't know. He doesn't know how to say. He doesn't know how to say Sicilian, and of course he's a full-blooded Italian. He doesn't know how to say Sicilian. So what does he say? Silicon, I think.
Yeah.
We're gonna get some of them silicon girls. Have some really real silicon food from Domino's.
I think he's trying to say silicone. I think is what he's
No, he's trying to say Sicilian because he says.
Well, I know, but I think he's saying silicone. But I don't know the difference between Rocky King and Rocky Dennis. So what do I know?
And Tommy Rich walks into Rocky King and Rocky Dennis's bicycle shop. Now that's an episode of Different Strokes they didn't.
Somebody say something about get fired up.
Get fired up.
After you drink this, I can pull up my camera.
Tommy Rich does his goofy promo. Then Gary Wolf graces us with his presence.
Sure he does.
Great.
He said sarcastically. And cuts a promo on Shane Douglas.
Then it's RVD.
RVD on Taz.
Then we get Bulldozer for Hire.
Yes, prostituting himself out once again.
Like this guy watched Jerry Maguire and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do that.
Show me the money. Show me the money."
Fucking lazy fuck.
I'm surprised at some point. Like somebody hasn't walked up to him and said, "Hello, I'd like to offer you." You had me at hello. You had me at hello.
Or he looked at Shane. He was like, "Help me, help you." Did you know the average head weighs 800 pounds? Or
I got ants, Shane. I got ants.
Jesus.
Idiot.
Everybody at ECW owns a bike shop.
Then we get Community Theater Dreamer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You couldn't wait to see that little box on the bottom of the screen. when Dreamer showed up, I was like, oh, please, this has got to be it. Just because I hate when people say the only thing you remember about the wrestling match is the finish. Well, this is the finish.
Dreamer's community theater stuff. I just don't. Yeah, that's why I call him that. And I'm glad it's become a thing on the show because you guys start things more than I do around here. But
well, yeah, this is it's almost kind of put upon Tommy too. Like it's a hybrid of community theater put upon Tommy because he's like sad and he's sitting in the shadows and like, Raven beat up my grandpa. So sad about it. And I had to watch my grandpa do the one thing I couldn't do, and that's beat Raven. But then Bulldozer for Hire broke his fucking ear. And I had to watch the dreams and hopes leave the eyes of my grandpa. So now I have to stand up. And I must not beat you. It's like, shut the fuck up, Tommy. Nobody cares.
No, nobody does.
Just go home with your quasi-hot wife and just shut the fuck up.
Ain't nobody calling her that these days.
Put upon Community Theater Dreamer.
Put upon Community Theater Tommy Dreamer. He has better gimmicks on this show than he did in real life.
He doesn't even get to meet Tommy. That's an insult to Tommy Rich.
Dude, what I hate about I don't like Dreamer to begin with, and how he landed that gig as like basically a full-time person on Busted Open. It kills me. He's the worst. Like he's the absolute worst. He can never give an opinion either way. If you ask him who you like in a match, whatever, he won't give you. He won't pick either one of them. Bubba kills him.
Paulie doesn't write it for him.
Yeah, he's stupid. And how he's landing these jobs where he's doing like AEW Dynamite After Dark. I'm like, dude, I'm waiting till 11 o'clock to hear this radio show about what I just watched, and it comes on and it's Dreamer. You're on Busted Open After Dark. I'm like, oh, Tommy, goddamn Dreamer, man, go away already.
I saw him show up. It was just a backstage thing, but I saw him show up on Impact a couple weeks ago, and I was like,
Yes.
I thought he was gone. I didn't know he was still even around.
No, he's higher up in TNA. He's like talent relations nonsense, dude.
Yeah, he's been in that role forever.
And it goes to show you where TNA's at on the totem pole. Fuck, they still got Tommy Dreamer employed.
Like every since he's been there, like every rebranding or rebossing of that company, Tommy seems to make
it's like Pritchard in WWE. No matter what happens, he's still there.
Yeah,
I think every time he gets a reprieve, I think he grows a ponytail. So he's probably got like 87 ponytails by now.
Well, he's got 2 at least that I know of. He talks about him. He's stupid. He's so stupid. How is this guy, like, even in '97, this is your top babyface? I mean, God, I'm just like begging you.
There's Pops there. Pops keeping him employed.
God, he stinks.
And maybe that's it. I mean, I know that he was like friends with Paulie behind the scenes and did a lot of stuff behind the scenes, but he was smart enough. He was smart enough early on in this ECW run when we're talking about like 95, 94 to fucking latch himself on to Terry Funk.
Pop. That's what I'm saying. Pop.
And somehow convinced Terry that he was, I don't know, worth putting his time into.
I'll remember where your keys are at, man. It's kind of like when Hunter was like, I'll get in the car with you guys.
Yeah.
And look at him now. You know what I mean?
When Dreamer worked for the WWE, I could just imagine the look on like Vince's face anytime like Dreamer had to like go into the office, like go into Vince's office and relay a message or anything. Vince is probably doing something and looks up and sees Dreamer standing there. And I bet he's like, "Oh, motherfucker, what does this idiot want?"
You look like Dante from Clerks. All right.
Say, I wasn't even supposed to be here today.
Put upon Tommy. The main event match for the show, Chris Candido, Louis Spicolli. I put Skip of the Body Donnas versus Rad Radford in the ECW.
I don't have a lot of notes on the matches, but you just talked about Vince, And I was like looking at the talent that was in this match, and I'm like, Vince didn't want Shane Douglas, Chris Candido, or Louis Spicolli, but he just had to have Brian Lee. Are you fucking kidding me?
No, that's Vince. Yeah. This match, I got to be honest. This match got zero attention from me because I was out of something to drink. So when I realized it wasn't over and this match was coming on, I was like, I'm done. This is about as far as I'm going on this show.
It was I don't have a lot of notes on it, but like I said, it was a pretty solid match and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was all right. I mean, I wasn't expecting they couldn't have showed the whole match. I'm like, they're going to crockett this up. So I wasn't putting a whole lot of investment in it.
They gave, I don't know how long the match actually went, but they gave us about 5 minutes of it. And what I was joking, not joking, but it was a bit of a joke. But it was the to make a comparison of the WWF when Vince was so silly gimmick heavy in 95, these guys, Louis Spicolli and Chris Candido, each being billed as two professional wrestling men, have a decent match. And the reason I brought up, it wasn't to make fun of them, but the reason I brought up Rad Radford versus Skip is they had a match. They had a match against each other in 95 on WWF Superstars that was just as good as this, but you couldn't take it seriously because it wasn't Chris Candido versus Louis Spicolli. It was Rad Radford versus Skip of the Body Donnas. They had the same match, and it was just as good, but this one was better because that silliness wasn't involved in it.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like these guys were the guys that Vince was like, "Fuck those guys. We don't want them, but we want primetime Bryant." Like,
gotta have prime time, dude. Seriously.
Primetime and the fucking Harris brothers. God, they all stunk. I don't know how they all. Oh God, I hate all three of them. Like as far as I don't. Well, maybe also as people, because apparently the Harris brothers are worthless Nazis too. But I just, I don't know how those guys had such
the Harrises were both Vince's like them. Vince McMahon liked them, and
oh yeah, Rousseau and Jarrett used them long past their fucking expiration date in TNA.
Yeah.
Like I'm watching some TNA from 2004, and Don Harris is still there. I said I thought he was gone by then. Jesus Christ!
Like you got mold on you, man.
Stealing checks for a long time, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Damn.
Yeah, these guys have a decent match. Spicolli goes to the top rope to try to finish Candido off. Francine, the triple threat does come out during the match, obviously. The other two triple threat members. Francine shakes the ropes to knock Spicolli off the top rope. The match winds up with Candido winning with a small package. What I did note also that I liked about this, Candido did a great job with his hair of looking like like Spicolli was taking him to his limit. Like by the time the match is over, he's got like when Flair's hair would get really big during like a long competitive match. He's just got like the big blonde, his slick back hair is turned into a big blonde bouffant, and he looks exasperated at the end of this match.
Like how Flair looked after his match with Vader.
Yeah.
Except Grand Candido didn't have the busted mouth and everything like that, but his hair was all puffed up.
But no, this is prime Candido. I was always a fan of him. I even liked him as Skip. I'm not gonna lie, but like this is him finally coming into his own as a talent and a star. And I know Spicolli's not long for the world after this, but Spicolli looked in decent shape in this, and it's like to me, like watching this match is like this is what these guys could have done if they were given a bigger chance.
Yeah, pretty much. Good.
If it wasn't all about cosmetics, it's like these guys could have had bigger, and probably been around a little longer.
Well, we'll start with been around a little longer. I like Spicolli and Candido. I've had ups and downs with him, so but he was still okay. I didn't want him to die or anything, for Christ's sake.
After the match, the triple threat beats up Louis Spicolli until the Pitbulls come out to make the save. And then Gary Wolf, Pitbull number 1, is in the ring trying to injure Shane Douglas. And pretty much everybody, the officials and everybody empties from the locker room to try to get him off of Shane because he's trying to break Shane's neck, et cetera, et cetera.
A shitty looking fucking Full Nelson. His fingers aren't even clutched, and they're like, "Oh, he's breaking his neck."
Dude, I'm sitting here biting my tongue, Aaron, saying, "Please say how bad that Full Nelson was."
Like shit.
Because I didn't want to pretend like I'm the wrestling expert, and did you notice? But I'm sitting there watching and going, "What the fuck, dude? He's trying to break his trap." He wasn't even putting pressure on his neck; he was putting pressure on his shoulder muscle. Yeah, that was a shitty full Nelson. And it looked even worse when the guys tried to break it up. You know, he looked like he was trying to hold a midget back. Like from a fight. He had his arms up underneath his arms like he was trying to hold him back. Like, you're not even pretending to do a full Nelson on it anymore. Not even doing a Jim Nelson. It's terrible.
Yeah, Nelson Frazier.
We're not starting this. It's too late in the show.
I was going to say, a Nelson Frazier's when you get a double stack of pancakes, 6 slices of bacon, 4 eggs, over easy.
Then you watch some porn.
And you never eat a vegetable in your fucking life. That's a Nelson Frazier.
And a white girl.
So overall, guys, what did we think of this episode of ECW?
I liked it.
I liked it, but I just thought it was incomplete. I can't give it a grade because it was a one-match show with a bunch of clips.
Yeah,
our show was more entertaining than their show. I'll say that.
Yeah, I liked it in the sense that I'd be more than happy to if I was out somewhere because it aired so late at night or whatever. I was out somewhere and came home drunk from after being at the bar or whatever, and that was just coming on. I was like, all right, I can dig this. This is gonna be a cool watch. But yeah, I didn't give it much of a grade either. Like I said, it was just good. That's what I wrote in my book. Like, you know, good show. But
yeah.
you know, I didn't know how to grade it because it was like, I guess I didn't even realize it was one match until like 47 minutes or 42 minutes into the program, we got a match.
I actually wrote down on my notes. It's funny that you guys said what you said because I wrote down on my notes. I give this actually a C plus as a wrestling show, but I gave it an A as a hype show.
Right.
Because it was more of a hype show than it was to showcase any in particular. It was like you said earlier, Aaron. It was 45 minutes of this is all of our talent. Boom, 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 boom. Just rapid fire. Look at all these fucking. But nothing stuck to where I would call it a quality like bell to bell quote unquote show. So, all right. Well, that's a wrap for this week on Reliving the Extreme. Don't forget to tell anybody that you know that's an old school wrestling fan or an ECW fan to check us out anywhere you find your podcasts, including YouTube on the WNR Podcast Network page on YouTube. And, of course, you can always join us on the WNR Podcast Facebook group. And unless you guys have anything else you want to discuss, we're going to sign off for this week.
I'm doing I'll be doing an autograph signing tomorrow. I'll be at the Get and Go in Clinton, Tennessee about 6 times.
Signing natty light bags.
I don't have the exact times yet, but if you just hang around there long enough, you'll see me a couple of them. That's all I got coming up.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you next week on Reliving the Extreme.
Peace.